Okay, let's see. Make sure my screen is sharing properly. Please give me a moment. All right, guys, we are all so excited to have all of you here today for our From Starting to Thriving, Building a Handmade Business That Lasts workshop. We here at Handmade to Market are always available for any assistance in providing any and all tools needed to ensure that your handmade business is really growing and really getting towards that thriving level. Today, we're actually going to talk to you about what it is that you can do right now, some actionable steps to bring your business from that starting level to that thriving level and really make sure you're building a business that truly, truly lasts. And at the end of the workshop, we're not only going to talk about the what you can do, but also the resources that we have available to you on how you can do this. So with that being said, let's jump into our agenda. So today we will go over our rules of engagement. We'll do a quick introduction on who it is that we are, who the team is right now supporting you in this workshop. We'll share a little bit more about Handmade to Market. Then we're going to dive into the real meat of today's workshop, the stages of growth and the essential business milestones for you to achieve while going from that starting of your business all the way through to growing it and all the way to thriving. And then finally, we're going to end with the most exciting element, which is an opportunity that will be available for you only for a very short period of time. So what I would suggest right now, while we're getting started and settling in, right before I go in through the rules of engagement, grab a pen, grab a pencil, grab a piece of paper, excuse me, and get ready to take some notes because maybe I'll be sharing something with you that will really stand out and resonate and you don't want to forget it. So whatever note-taking system or format you use, go ahead and get that all set up while I bring you through our rules of engagement for today. So beginning to end attendance is something that we really, really suggest. Of course, all of us are busy. All of us have other work to do, but to really grasp the main details of what we'll be sharing, we always suggest beginning to end attendance. Plus, towards the end of the workshop, we have some really exciting news and some really exciting information that will be coming your way. We also suggest to be stationary. So that means stay in the same place. You don't want all the distractions from environments around you if you're, walking through the street or driving the car or anything, because you might be missing out on some useful pieces of information. With that comes full engagement, meaning if possible, please put your camera on. It's always so nice to have faces to look at while we are sharing and presenting. And also make sure that your audio is on to so that you can really ensure that you're hearing everything. I apologize if you hear background noise. That is my cat playing in a box on top of the fridge. So please disregard any noises you might be hearing from the background. Um, we also very much suggest full presence. So that ties into the being in attendance from beginning to end, really ensuring you don't have any distractions. And most importantly, we want to make sure we use the Zoom chat intentionally. So in the Zoom chat today is where you're going to be able to put in any questions you have throughout the whole entire workshop, or you can use the Q&A function on the bottom of Zoom. So throughout the workshop, we'll be answering questions that you'll be asking, but please only ask those questions either again in that chat or in the Q&A function. And again, these questions will be answered throughout the workshop. Finally, a replay will be made available to you at the end. So do not worry. I'll repeat this as well as we continue, but a replay will be made available only for a limited time. Overall, be yourself and enjoy this presentation. So let's jump into the team. Who are we? My name is Hannah Del Carmine. I'm the training manager here at Handmade to Market, and I've been working with artisans and individuals in the handmade sector since 2021. I have a background as a Peace Corps volunteer where I was located in Fiji, and I'm a former e-commerce manager for a fashion jewelry brand. I've always been very passionate about cultural preservation, community development, and supporting the growth of small businesses from all around the world. So I'm really honored to be here with all of you. Now I'm going to pass it on to my colleague here who's helping out with technology and answering your questions.
Hey everyone, my name's Claire. I'm the Handmade to Market Training and Communication Specialist. And I started about 2 years ago as an intern. I'm really passionate about economic development, sustainability, and preserving cultural heritage and traditions from around the world. And so far, I've learned so much from all the different artisan entrepreneurs and handmade entrepreneurs that we work with. I'm so great to have you all here today and learn more from you guys.
All right, thank you, Claire. And again, please, guys, continue to introduce yourselves in the chat so all of you can get to know each other as well. Now, let us get started. So, over all of the years, so much has changed from before COVID, after COVID, during COVID. We've seen a lot of shifts in the market and customers' buying habits, and keeping up with all of these changes and all of these differences is something that is really, really difficult. The market's become very saturated with, those fast fashion products, the Amazons, the, um, you know, things that are easily accessible just at the click of a button. So really trying to diversify your products, your collections, make yourself stand out. These are things that are really difficult and a lot of challenges that entrepreneurs in the handmade sector are truly facing right now. So we understand really how important this topic of building a thriving business is and how difficult it may be to really stay in touch with everything that is changing and everything that is currently happening. And every business is extremely unique and at its own level. So even when we were starting in our introductions, we had some individuals who already have established businesses, while some of you who are currently on this call are just starting out, sort of just have an idea. Everybody ranges throughout the whole entire spectrum. And we want to be able to give you, no matter where you are along that spectrum, some practical milestones and available resources so that no matter what stage you are in your business, you're able to get these questions answered. How to research your market? What do I need to do to stand out? What can I do to be successful? And all of these thoughts and these ideas are really what Handmade to Market is all about. Our mission is to equip artisan businesses with the knowledge, resources, and community that they need to sustainably thrive in today's global market. We used to be named A to Artisans, which was founded in 1974. And actually, last year, we rebranded to Handmade to Market so that we really, really encompass this updated mission that we have developed. And the main goal is to help artisan entrepreneurs like all of you to bring your handmade products to the market. And we do this by having three different programs: our Artisan Business Lab, Artisan Business Accelerator, and Artisan Business Community. Our Artisan Business Lab whole encompasses three different sort of activities, I'll say. We have our Handmade to Market membership, our Market Readiness Program, and one-on-one coaching. Our Business Accelerator encompasses country projects, Canvas Home Small Grants, custom accelerator projects. And then our business community is one of our newest elements where we bring people together from all around the world within the sector for you to be able to network and grow your own personal network. We do that through our membership, newsletters, and networking events. And so today's workshop actually really falls under the Artisan Business Lab bubble. So today we're really here to help handmade entrepreneurs go from feeling maybe overwhelmed, alone, and not making enough sales to confident, connected, and thriving in your business. So workshops like this one really try to help you reach those feelings of being confident, of being connected, and really thriving. And today we will achieve this goal by covering a few key elements. So we will be covering again the stages of building that thriving handmade business and go through specific milestones for your product. So product development, branding, the financial foundations that really support your sustainability, marketing and sales, which is a huge chunk of your business, and then management systems that really support growth. And finally, we'll go over how to move forward with clarity and confidence. So we've done this by developing a very unique path that we feel can be followed to really ensure that your business reaches that thriving level, no matter again where you are starting off right now. So maybe some of us are just starting, we just have an idea. Others might be sort of more so in the middle of their journey, looking to really expand, and others may even be thriving and just looking to stay on top of market trends and staying on top of everything that is happening in the world right now. We have resources and ideas for this whole entire range. And we really want to help you break it down so you can figure out what it is that you truly need to focus on. So, again, with that pen and paper, jot down as I'm going through the presentation, going through these milestones, what it is you feel like is the next step that you need to take to bring yourself to that next level. And again, don't forget to ask questions in either the Q&A function on Zoom or in the chat, as we will be going through these periodically throughout the workshop. So I quickly mentioned this success path. So what is it? We have developed 4 different levels going from starting all the way to thriving. The first stage that we have is that starting stage. So let's see, do any of you resonate with this starting stage? You have product ideas, a business name, and a mission in progress. You're assessing costs, exploring sales channels, and really starting to organize your business internally for growth. So these are things that you will be achieving once you hit the end of that starting level. So everything that you are working towards right now, if you feel like you're in this level, these are the goals and the final achievements that you want to have once you've gone through all of those necessary tasks and those necessary growth elements. Once you've surpassed this stage, you'll be going on to the growing level, where at the end, you have launched product lines, built a brand presence with a logo and social media, you've set prices, begun selling through one channel, and established a production management system. So this is more in depth. You're really starting to build that identity of who you are and really starting to grow and test the waters in different markets. Once you've surpassed the growing level, you'll be going into expanding, where you've successfully developed product collections, so not just product lines. You have a cohesive brand and website. You have structured pricing and a solid financial plan. You've added sales channels, communicate regularly with customers, and effectively managed production and team roles. So this is really in this expanding level when you're starting to feel grounded, when you're starting to really build yourself up and your name is being more recognized within your markets, and you're starting to reach into different market channels. And the final level is that thriving stage, where at the end you successfully sell core product collections and introduce new items based on customer feedback with consistently recognized branding. You maintain robust financial practices and maximize sales channels and marketing strategies. You have a strong presence in your target markets, supported by effective business management systems. This is the level that we want all of you to really make it to. So, you really have to make adjustments as you pay attention to the market, your sales and your customers, your feedback, everything gets tied into this. And so what we're going to again go through today is the what you can do to get to this level that all of us truly want to be in. And at the end, we're going to share exactly how. So here's the extremely detailed success path where we've broken it out even further into those key categories to having a successful business. Your product, your branding, your finance, your marketing, and your sales. And today we'll be going through all of these and providing you milestones in each of these buckets. And so you can really see exactly where you currently are. So, the product development is really central to your business, whether it's food, textiles, or jewelry. That branding element is really how you communicate with your market and ensure you have a clear and effective message being sent out to your market. It's your key identifier. Your finances, you need to make sure you're costing things correctly, you have correct markups for different sales channels, and really make sure your business is running at a profit, which is what everybody wants, of course. And it's always easier said than done. This financial piece is something that a lot of people struggle with because it is so difficult. But there are solutions and there are things that you can do to make it easier. On yourself and make sure you are really, really achieving the financial goals that you have. The marketing and sales element is really the heart of the business, where you want to make sure you know how to connect with people and connect with different markets, no matter where you are planning on selling, whether it's locally, globally, as an exporter, wholesale, whatever it may be. And finally, management. There's so many different ways to manage your business, and there's no one right way. It's whatever works best for you. You may just be one person when you start working, and then you want to start bringing in other individuals in that management sphere. You might be working with three artisans. You might be working with hundreds of artisans. And we'll discuss some tools to manage the production and that quality control, no matter how large your team is. So now that we've gone over the success path, somewhat in detail, I want to ask you guys a question. Are you in the starting, growing, expanding, or thriving phase? So Claire right now is going to post a poll for all of you. We'll take about 45 seconds for you guys to answer. What part of the success path do you feel that you are in? Go ahead and take a couple seconds to provide those answers. Got a couple more seconds. Excuse me. All right, 5 more seconds, you guys. I'll do another 5 because people are still answering. All right, this is awesome. Okay, amazing. So it looks like our main categories for today are in that starting phase and the expanding phase. So that's actually pretty great. We sort of have people along both sides of the spectrum. We also have some individuals in thriving and some in growing. So we really have everybody along the whole entire path. And I think this really does show a little piece of what our industry is. It's everybody who wants to come together and learn, no matter where you are along that path. And everybody wants to thrive for that success. So hopefully, those of you who are in that starting phase, which is the majority of you, through this workshop, you're going to be able to see sort of that progression and the different milestones you can hit. For those of you who aren't growing, expanding, and even in thriving, same thing. Maybe it can help you analyze, going back to the drawing board to sort of recreate things again, recreate different collections, what you can do to continue to move forward. And sometimes to move forward, you have to take a few steps back to sort of reboot yourself and reanalyze. So thank you guys so much for answering our first poll. We'll be doing a few of these throughout the workshop. So with that said, let's dive into the real meat of the presentation. Our product. So as mentioned, the product is really sort of that one of the key elements of your business. So under this product category, if you are in that starting stage, you have a lot of different milestones. This is when you're really starting to sort of think about what it is that you want to do. And you're, really starting to think about what's possible, what materials are available for you, what your marketing and your sales channels, which ones might work out and how to tailor your products to that. So one of the big milestones that you'll end up hitting at the end of this starting phase under sort of that product element is you have great ideas for what products you want to make. So to get to fulfilling that sentence, the milestones you want to hit are you've identified your first product category, you've identified your materials, and you've identified your first samples to be created. So one big action step that you can take to work towards achieving those milestones is deciding which product category to develop first based on demand and research, not just ideas. So to really achieve these milestones, you want to do your market research. You want to dive into understanding what it is that your potential customers want and what it is that is feasible for you to make. So one thing in terms of your product category is actually understanding what a product category is. So for example, if you're selling jewelry, your product category would be fashion and accessories. So this is something that's really important to note because it can affect which sales channels you want to enter into and where you can go to sell these products. So if you are, selling jewelry in that fashion and accessories category, some specific trade shows might be a very good place for you to go, like New York Now or Las Vegas Market. But then shows like, Ambiente or Miami Food Show, those won't be for you because those are for food, of course. So it's really good to really start analyzing exactly what category you want to be a part of. Under the materials milestone, what materials are right for the level of market you are targeting? What supplies are readily available to you? This might be, you might be working alone, you might be working with artisans. This can all sort of change the quality, the time it takes for you to make the products, all of these little elements. And finally, to develop samples. One good thing that you can do here is to create a mood board. What are the first products you want to make? What is it that inspires you? What designs really interest you? What designs could work for your market? So if you're in the starting phase under product, it's a lot of market research and market analysis to help get you towards these big milestones. Once you've achieved all of these, you move up in this product category to stage two of growing where at the end, you've really started to create your product lines. So now you've really gotten your inspiration and you want to have that first successful line of products where you develop a group of products that you can sell together that really look good. So you have the products tested in the market and you start getting feedback for it. So one big action step you can take is sort of to start refining your first products based on real feedback. So in the previous stage under product, you started developing samples. You might be sort of bringing it to local markets, testing them out, seeing people are responding well to, what people are not. And then to bring it up to this next level, you really start to reel it in a little bit. A lot of times when you're starting, you have these big ideas, you have these giant goals, and so now is the time to really start bringing it together where you can solidify everything a little bit more. And once you've gotten that market feedback and those product lines are really starting to grow and be developed, you'll go into the expanding stage of your product development. So at the end of this expanding stage, you'll have a collection of products that are selling successfully. So you've grown from having sort of just one product line to a collection. And what's the difference between a product line and a collection? So a product line is a group of related products that really work together, as I mentioned before. So this would be like napkins, placemats, table runners, all of these things fall under table. However, a collection sort of encompasses a lot of different categories of products that also work together. So maybe table runners, pillow covers, totes, all of these products work together but fall under different categories. And they work together through their design. So even in this image here that you see a woman wearing a traditional Mexican huipil, and the colors being used are sort of that, the beige colors with a little bit of terracotta, I'll say, for the embroidery. And then it looks like she's also holding a tablecloth, which includes that same terracotta embroidery and the similar sort of base material. So this is something that could sort of connect into a collection. They match in some way. So that's actually the first milestone for you to hit is bringing a collection of products that are selling really in your target market. The second milestone is you've incorporated customer feedback and trends into your product design. So this is even, the expanding stage here. This is the third stage working towards the fourth of thriving. And all throughout so far, one of the similarities is market research and product feedback. This is something that continues to replicate no matter where you are along the path. So in terms of this customer feedback, at this point, you're getting good feedback and your products are actually starting to sell. So as you start to introduce these products into the market earlier in the growing phase, you're sort of starting to adapt based on what your customers are sharing with you and continuing to push forward. And it's also really important to pay attention to the market and pay attention to those trends, to always be thinking about what collection is coming next and sort of planning for the year ahead as you continue on. So using that feedback from your customers or information gathered from your sales is a really, really good thing to do and a good place to continue to develop yourself. So one large action step here is to discover the key components of your product lines that really keep those customers coming back. And one question we actually always get is, how do you collect this feedback? So there's actually a lot of great ways to do this. You can either do it through surveys, you can do it by word of mouth. You can. Actually, those are two of the big ones. If anyone else also has any other suggestions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. But from our current experiences, it's surveys, emailing customers, asking them, speaking to them one-on-one. Do not be shy to reach out to your clientele and your customers and asking them feedback questions. And that also really does help build that relationship between you and your customer. And finally, the thriving phase under product. You've successfully sell core product collections and regularly develop new products based on customer feedback and trends. The milestones here are you develop new products annually, you incorporate trends and customer feedback into your product development regularly. One of the action steps here is to turn insights from customers and trends into your next standout collection. So really doing that turnover, and doing so on a very regular basis. It's not sort of just a one-off. Now you have that system in place where you can do this regularly. So one question that I have for you guys is this. We're going to pull up a poll. Imagine a handmade business with a small collection of products selling successfully. One product is a customer favorite, but others sell inconsistently. The business has started collecting customer feedback and researching trends. What should the business focus on next to increase repeat purchases and overall sales? Claire's going to launch this quiz question for you guys. So we'll give about a minute and a half to go through and answer this question to see what you guys think the right answer is. So no rush. This is great, guys. A lot of you guys are quick on this. I'm impressed. You read a lot faster than what I do. Good job. Got about 40 more seconds for those of you who are still looking at it. And one of the big things too is, we do want repeat customers. We want people to keep coming back to us. And one of the great ways of doing that is by building those connections. Excuse me, is by building those connections and not being shy to reach out to our clients in respectable manners, of course. And so that feedback can really, really sort of create, help you create that successful business. About 6 more seconds. All right. Great job, everybody. You guys are pretty much all correct. And the correct answer to this question is B. You use customer feedback and trends to refine and expand that product line. So it seems like this entrepreneur is in that sort of growing and expanding phase where they're really starting to bring in that feedback and put it into action. And they're really established, but they're still really like growing their products and finalizing sort of where their niche in the market is. So that was a lot right there that we just threw at you in terms of product and product development going across the phases. So I'm actually going to pass it on to Claire right now and see if we have any questions in the chat about this product category before we move on to branding. Go ahead, Claire.
No questions yet, Hannah. about product itself. Someone just had a question about if we would share the presentation. So I said that we would be sharing the recording. So everyone here will be sent a link to the recording after the workshop.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Claire. Yeah, so this time around, you'll only get access to the recording, not the physical presentation itself. I will tell you later at the end how you can get a hold of the physical presentation in itself. But yes, the recording will be provided to all of you.
We actually just did get one question. Thanks, Elizabeth. Um, can you give ideas for conducting inexpensive market research?
I mean, one good way to do that, I'm sorry. One good way to do that is to reach into your current database of clientele. So even ourselves here at Handmade to Market, depending on projects and things, we have to do our own market research too. And we do a lot of that honestly by emailing, by setting up calls with people, by posting small polls on our social media. Or even today, for example, some of these poll questions that all of the responses that you guys are providing us is actually research into our market and into a better understanding where our clientele lies. So doing these small things sort of throughout on a regular basis. So again, you can ask questions on your like Instagram stories, reach out via email, do those phone calls. If you have calls or if you do presentations yourself, that's a great place where you can do and ask those types of questions. If you have a website, you can even, when people sign up for your mailing list, have a little marketing and evaluation question available there at the bottom to start collecting some of those details, whatever it is you may need. Or in your sales systems, after a week of the client having the product, it automatically sends out a little questionnaire. So there's a few different ways to do it.
Do you have any specific ideas for if you're in the starting phase? As a follow-up to her question.
Yeah, so if you're in the starting phase, sort of when you're doing that market research, honestly, I think a good place to start is social media, and looking at what it is that people are looking for. You go into Google even and Google, let's say you're looking at jewelry. You can Google jewelry trends, for example. If you are thinking about different products you want to make, you can look up sort of color trends, so like Pantone colors. And honestly, just good old-fashioned research like you did in school, Googling it, looking at current social media, asking your friends questions, going out to the market, seeing what's buying, or what people are mainly purchasing. Sort of small elements like that. Don't think about it too deeply. What do you do if you want to look for answers to simple questions that you even have on a daily basis? You can start taking those actions within that starting phase. And even reaching out to a community like the one today. If there's those of you who want to be a part of a bigger community, you can ask people who are also in that handmade sector sort of what it is that they're seeing, and what it is that is working for them.
Thanks, Hannah.
Yeah. All right, any more questions? Nope, Claire went on mute. I'm assuming not. All right, now let's jump into branding, which is super important to the identity of your business. So if you're in the starting phase for branding, by the end, you will have a business name and are deciding on your mission. So the milestones you want to hit is you've created the business name, of course. You've created your mission, vision, and values. So one action step is to clarify what your business stands for and what you want to achieve. So creating that name is something that can actually be kind of difficult and can go through some rounds of yeah, it could take a couple of times to find that right name. And you want something that's going to be relevant, something that's going to be memorable. And one thing you can do in terms of trying to find your name is talk to your team. Do research on sort of powerful words and do research on what names already exist for potential businesses that are somewhat similar to yours. Do again the market research. So this is something that does take time. However, once it resonates with you, you can really make it stand out. In terms of your mission, vision, and values, this can also maybe feel a little overwhelming, but Once you have it narrowed down, it can help you really give direction for how your brand looks and feels in the future. And it truly is sort of those founding blocks for when you are starting. So even us here at Handmade to Market, as I mentioned a year ago, we actually rebranded to Handmade to Market from A to Artisans. So that being said, we kind of took ourselves from that. At that point, we were in that thriving phase, right? We had been A to Artisans for years. And then we kind of brought ourselves back to this starting branding phase where we recreated our business name. We updated our mission. We updated our vision and our values. It didn't completely change, but we still made updates. And from here, we actually had to follow sort of similar steps to the rest of these milestones that you have to hit to really ensure that, the name is being noticed and you have really truly developed your identity. So after the starting phase, when you get to growing in terms of branding, at the end, you have that logo, you have a social media presence, and you've started creating your brand. So these milestones are you've created that brand story, you have the logo, you have product images, photography is super important, and you have a social media presence on whatever platforms you choose. One way to choose your different platforms is again by researching the market that you want to be reaching out to, sort of that level you want to be at. So, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just e-commerce, whatever it may be, all is dependent also on your market tier, and the level of sort of customers that you have. One action step is to ask yourself, what powerful stories can you share about your business? Whether it's stories about the artisans, stories about where it is that you come from, stories about the techniques that you use to develop your products. So all of these things can pretty much well, not only be developed, but it's easier to really develop these once you have your mission, vision, and values. Your logo should really be reflective of those three elements and ensure that it also appeals to your ideal customer using color trends, colors that match your customer, colors that sort of encompass the age range that you are targeting. Your product images are shown on social media. You use them in catalogs or wherever you're selling your products. So you want to make sure that they're powerful imagery. And finally, your social media is a good place to really put your presence out there before you even have a website. So social media, that's when you can start asking people questions and doing even more market research, being like, we made our new logo. Like, what do you think? Here's a story. Excuse me. Here's a story about an artisan that we have been working with. We want to introduce you to XYZ name and sort of start that storytelling and start really building up your identity. So at this point, you sort of have that digital presence, you have that social media presence, you have those small elements of your identity, and then now you're in that expanding phase. We're at the end, you've created a website and built your full visual brand identity. So it spans across multiple different elements. Some of the milestones here would be you've defined that visual identity. You've taken branding and storytelling photos. So these are different styles of photos. You've created a website and you've created your marketing materials. So an action step that you can take here is choose the marketing materials that will help your products stand out in the market. So this could be business cards, catalogs, how you want to design your hand tags. Make sure everything looks cohesive and fits into that visual identity that you have. And your business may not need physical catalogs, for example, or certain physical elements. And that's okay, because that is at this point, you've defined sort of who you are and where it is you want to target your sales and your target market. And that visual identity is really sort of defining the look and the feel of your brand. So, in depth defining the logo, the fonts, the colors, the styles of imagery you want, whether you want darker photos, lighter photos, lifestyle, products, whatever it may be, any types of photos that really tell the story of your brand and your product. So everything at this point sort of starts looking more cohesive and looking more professional as you're continuing to find your voice. And finally, in terms of thriving in the category of branding, at the end here, your branding is consistently applied throughout your business and it's recognized by your customers. One milestone is you've applied your visual identity and brand voice consistently across all of your marketing. So one action step is to conduct an audit of your brand. So what is a brand audit? There are two different ways that you can do this. One is an internal audit, where you look at your team and ask your team questions to better understand how they see your business and how they see your identity. Another way to do a brand audit is externally. That's through your customers. So again, you get that feedback on how they are seeing your brand, what they really sort of imagine and envision it. And you want to make sure you're consistently using the same guidelines across any element of your business, whether it's on those hang tags, in those catalogs, in on the website, in social media, whatever it may be. And it's always good to have an action plan to really enact any of the feedback that you receive. So again, under this branding and under this identity, it takes time. And it takes, again, a lot of research and a lot of thought. And the storytelling element can be extremely powerful. And, as human beings, we connect with each other, right? So it's always great to really tell the stories of the individuals that you're working with. And the stories about your culture and the history that has really inspired your products and why it is that you're developing what it is that you're developing. So these are all a lot of different steps and milestones that you can take in terms of branding. Now, before we go on to our finances, do we have any questions in the chat about branding?
Um, we had a few. Um, Willard asked, people in USA, do you buy online out of the USA frequently, like from Africa? Do you have trust ordering online from Africa?
Sorry, what was that last part? Do you have?
Trust ordering online from Africa?
Okay, so I believe if I'm understanding the question correctly, you're asking from the opinion of a US customer, if we believe, we trust placing orders from different nations, especially here in the African region, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there definitely, yes. However, like any website from wherever you are, even at like a US website, for example, you want to make sure that it is presentable, it speaks to you, it looks trustworthy. If you have all of these like spam notices coming up, that makes you sort of not trust a website no matter where you are globally. So it's ensuring that the visuals that you're including, that can really help build that trust and that type of communication that you have with your clients, whether it's on that website screen or via email, social media, whatever it may be, is something that builds a relationship and builds that trust. So yes, the answer is yes, that US customers do have trust in it as long as it looks trustworthy, and it is trustworthy.
Somebody else asked, Gosa asked, is it possible to feel like you are between the growing and expanding stage? And I just said quickly back, of course. You can definitely have aspects of your business that are at different stages of growth, and that's totally normal and understandable.
Yep, perfectly responded.
Isabel asked, what are marketing materials?
Yes, so as mentioned, marketing materials are sort of the different things that you can bring into your business that help you market your business. So marketing your brand is basically trying to sell and share the stories of your business and your products. So some marketing materials are like those business cards, catalogs, hang tags on your products. So sort of these things that help supplement the sales and help sort of share who it is that you are, so that customers do take that step to purchase from you and build that trust.
Question from Mariana. She said, I'm finding that people are responding to emails less and less. How can, sorry, how can I insist without coming across as too incisive or even annoying? And so I wrote back, one way to get through, make sure your email gets through is to personalize them. This can make them more engaging. And it's also important to keep your language simple, and make sure your subject line is clear and you're highlighting the key points that you want people to take away from your messaging.
Yes,
I guess.
perfect response. Yeah, the short, ooh, sorry, we might be talking over each other.
No, you're
Yeah,
good, Hannah.
the shorter the email, as concise as it can be, that is the best course of action. And sometimes people don't respond, and sometimes that's okay. Maybe it's not the right client or customer for you. It's always worth trying to reach out. I like to say at least 3 times. It's okay to reach out a few times with some time in between. Life can sometimes come in the way as well. So giving little nudges, there's nothing wrong with that.
I had one last question from Sakina. How can pricing reflect both effort and sustainability without losing customers?
Great question. And this is something that I know a lot of people do struggle with. So obviously the first stage is sort of understanding what price that your ideal customer is able to buy and willing to buy from. And then once you sort of do that overhead analysis, you do that costing analysis, you have that set number. If you see that it's too large, you need to sort of look back at where it is that you can cut from your business slightly. So whether that is within the design side of your business, some potential marketing strategies that you do, how much you invest in certain resources, whatever it may be, sort of see where it is that you can cut back. A lot of times it ends up sort of going back into reducing the amount of elements that are put into your product. So that design piece, you can still make amazing and beautiful designs, but with slightly less effort, depending on different techniques or different design, yeah, just general designs that you end up doing. So simplifying it a little bit, um, or simplifying the strategy, whatever it may be. And sometimes too, if that product is at the higher cost, there's nothing you can do to sort of cut back on it, is market the value of it. Like share the stories. Because a lot of times too, people connect with that stories. If that cost is fixed and there's nothing else you can cut away, win their hearts over. Tell them why this product is so important and the meaning of this product and the meaning of this element. And that will in turn then end up directing you towards, again, those correct ideal customers.
Thanks, Anna. I think those were all the questions we have so far.
Okay. Awesome. All right, guys, we're getting there. We have to make it through finance and management. And then we have the exciting information and details that we want to share on, again, the how really to do all these things in depth and in detail. So finance, this is something that is a pain point for so many of us, myself included. We cannot all be strong at everything. Some of you guys may be super, super strong in finance. Some of you may be super, super strong in, marketing, design, whatever it may be. But as an entrepreneur, we need to be able to sort of do all of these things. So no matter how much you like or dislike this element, it is crucial to the success of your business. So starting off in your finances is really analyzing that research. Big thing, as I've mentioned already throughout, research is sort of that key element to building that thriving business. You want to make sure you know what your target price will be dependent on those ideal customers. So look at potential competitors, understand your competitors, and know what they are selling, what price point they're selling at, what their products look like. You want to develop your overhead budget. This is something that is extremely, extremely important, as this is how you're going to be able to sort of offset any of the internal costs that you have as a business owner. So you want to look at those business costs. You may not have that many yet, and that is totally okay. But you still want to look at what you think it will be and estimate the amount of sales you need to cover those costs. So in terms of overhead, there's so much that can go into overhead costs, even things like your lighting bill. If you have internet and Wi-Fi, what Wi-Fi is, the cost of running your workshop, anything and everything that falls under that overhead element. And this is also really sort of a great way to plan ahead. And even if, let's say, your overhead budget now, you guesstimate it and it's ridiculously high and you have all these ridiculous sales growth goals, And then, 1 year goes around, you've started selling your products, and your overhead cost isn't actually as high as you thought it was. It's a great time to adjust. This is something that you do on an annual cyclical basis. So at the end of the starting phase under finance, you've identified your product and business costs and really researched that target market and created that overhead budget. So again, one action item is answering the question, what should my target retail price be based on my target market tier? So these are all great things to start thinking about, doing the research for, and start putting together. Once you surpass that starting phase, when you get to growing at the end here under finance, you will have identified your costs and set prices for your product lines. So these milestones are identifying your costs, setting the prices for your products, and understanding product pricing markups. So in the markup side is sometimes where a lot of people end up struggling just a little bit because you want to make sure you add the correct markups to your products and ensuring, some products may be selling in one market, other products may be selling in another, and ensuring that they're priced correctly. So one action step is checking that your product prices cover all of your costs, including materials, labor, and overhead, so you stay profitable from the start. So to get to this phase, you've really started doing that research and you've started to identify those costs and set the prices that accurately target your market. And so, sorry about that. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, when they start off, they tend to base the pricing on what they think their products might sell for and not actually think about their business costs. So again, as I mentioned earlier, it's really important to be realistic, not just fully guess. Of course, in the beginning, if you don't have the overhead costs, that is a little bit of a guessing game. However, you do so with strategy, right? You don't just pull a number out of thin air saying this is what it's going to be. You generally have a slight idea of what that number should be for that cost. And so, by just pulling numbers out of thin air, this is where you could unintentionally be losing out on money and be losing out on opportunities. So it's very important to have accurate costing and pricing at this stage of your business. And again, right now at the stage too, you've sort of started going through things a little bit. You're starting to understand your market more. You're starting to understand your real costing and what prices your customers are buying at. So really continuing to analyze it and continuing to move through it is a great thing that you can do to make sure you stay on target. And understanding markups. So as I mentioned before, markups is something that some entrepreneurs sometimes really get hung up on. So if you want to start selling in more than one channel, you need to know if they will be marked up, if the products will be marked up in the future by the other businesses. So if you're planning on not just selling to individuals, but also to other businesses, then that business is going to add a markup to your product. So you need to know what those typically are for your target market and that you're choosing correctly so you can plan your costing to make sure that the markups are still competitive within your market and that they work within your target market. So usually with those added costs, if you're selling through different businesses, whatever it may be, this is a conversation you have while you make those deals. These are conversations that are meant to be open and be shared, and so that you're able to properly price your products on your end to make sure everything is covered. So this piece is really critical and honestly one of the biggest challenges. But once you've surpassed this phase and really started to understand how to do the math and understand how to communicate with these potential clients and buyers, it's something that becomes super regular. It's just learning how to do it might be sort of that slight hurdle that is extremely important for you and your business and 100% doable. Once you've done this, you'll get into expanding. And at the end of this phase, you're financially planning for the year ahead and have structured your product pricing for markups in your target sales channels. So the milestones here are you've an up-to-date annual operating budget. You have annual sales targets. You've costed and priced your products to allow for the appropriate markup for your chosen sales channel. So in the growing phase, you were working through all of these elements. And now in expanding, you have a set system. Like you are on it. And so one of the action steps here to continue to move forward is answering the question or finishing the sentence. With simple tools like sales trackers and growth charts, plan your year ahead and spot where your business can grow. So you really want to see what it is that you can do to keep pushing it forward, keep that momentum going, keep those new collections coming out and those price points being right there and perfect for your market, and really looking ahead. So that operating budget is something that is something that you kind of started already in that starting phase and in the beginning. And now it's time to continue to update it because again, you have a better idea of your costs and your marketing plans because you've been in the market for a little bit. You've been expanding into it. So this is something that will become a regular thing and continuously being updated. Your annual sales target is something important. It's really important to have a goal to work towards, both yourself and your team. This is something that is important for you to share with your team, whether it's management or the artisans themselves. Everyone can work on it together. And really, sometimes it's good to break it into monthly goals. So there's certain things that you want to be able to, certain targets you want to be able to hit each month. And it really helps you better understand your expectations and know what's possible in terms of your operating budget. So you want to outline your sales and costs to get a really big picture and an accurate picture of what your finances will look like for the year ahead. And that also kind of eliminates the guessing, and the uncertainty. And now finally with the markup element. So now you may have more than one sales channel or want to add another one into your marketing mix here. So you may not just have a retail business, but also a business to business element. So you want to make sure now that your pricing is structured so that it can be marked up easily. And the more, connections that you make, you have those numbers sort of ready and on hand. And it's not as much of a back and forth. You're sort of able to understand what the market needs, understand what your potential clients need, and it makes the system just so much easier. And if you don't have these in place, you may not be successful in selling in those new channels. And you know what? Sometimes too, when you've built these markups in, sometimes the price may be much too high, and maybe that's just not the right sales channel for you. And that's also something which is good to note. And that's when that market research continues to come in, is understanding, if it is right for you or if it's something that you maybe need to move away from. So these are all sort of things to start helping you plan ahead and continue that growth towards success. And now finally, that thriving stage where we all really want to be. You're confident in your finances now here at this stage, which is something I think that all of us have as a goal. So at the end of the thriving phase is you have emergency cash reserves, robust financial practices, and can project and achieve annual sales goals. Your milestones are you're generating profits and reinvesting into your business. You're successfully managing cash flow. You've set and achieved your sales goals, and you regularly analyze your business metrics. So, an action step that you can take here is answering the question, where can you invest your profits? So, what is it that this money can go into to continue to develop your business, whether it's in design and product development, your marketing team, um, your management, your staff, growing your team, whatever it may be, upon analyzing your business that can help push you forward even further. So at this point, you've really understood how to track your finances. You want to make sure that you are thinking strategically about the best places to reinvest and analyze how much you need to set aside for all of the operating funds that you have. Some of the business metrics that you can analyze, they should all be done every year. You want to make sure your finances are well understood, um, mainly, by you and by management, but also that your team has a general idea of what it is that is happening, on that higher level to ensure everyone sort of stays motivated and works together as a team to continue to push forward. It can help inform your marketing efforts, understand where changes need to be made and where you need to reinvest. And the numbers can really help you make those strategic decisions. So if you see, for example, that you've been to two international trade shows and one local trade show, one of the international trade shows you saw, fiscally was not a success at all, and you actually ended up losing out on a whole lot of money. The local trade show was a really, really huge success, and the second international trade show was so-so. this is something that you can look at and think back. Okay, so for the upcoming year, I want to focus maybe a little bit more on my local market. For the international market, maybe only do one trade show, go back to the one that was a little more successful, and maybe boost up my online sales for the international market. So, sort of thinking about what it is that the numbers are telling you and taking action steps that are needed. So here, really you have that system in place and you're kind of just rolling with it. And it's become sort of second you. With that, we have a question. The question is, which of the following is one way to help determine your target retail price? So Claire's going to launch the poll and we'll have about 1 minute, 1.5 to answer this question. Which of the following is one way to help determine your target retail price? Question's a little bit harder. I think you guys are all doing super, super well. This is all learning and growth experience. We're all in this one together. You guys are doing great. I actually even had to look up this one again too. All right, you guys got about 20 more seconds. A few more trickling in here. All right, guys. Thank you all for taking a moment to answer the question, which of the following is one way to help determine your target retail price? The answer is yes, it's D. You want to research your market tier and customers' needs to set the lowest possible sales price to sell quickly. And the main key word here is research. You don't want to guess. You don't want to sort of just lowball it and set just a super, super low bare minimum price. By setting that super low bare minimum price without any research and with just guessing, you're running the risk of losing money and not covering your costs. At least by doing research, you're making that informed decision to price that product at a number where you're able to pay yourself back and cover at least more of that overhead budget and those operational costs that you have. So again, the key word here is research. With all that being said, before we jump into our last two sections, do we have any questions in the chat?
We definitely have a few for finances. Um, Nagat asked, Senegalese like baskets so much, but they don't sell. What is the problem if we can't sell in our own country when everybody likes the baskets? They want to change the situation. And Morgan responded and said she's been looking, she loves Senegalese baskets and has been looking for them, but is wondering how she would get them to Jamaica. So maybe we're making a connection in the chat. I didn't know if you had anything to say about the first part of the question, Hannah.
Yeah, good question. And I love how you guys are interacting. Send each other too, even in a separate private chat if you guys are comfortable. Send each other your WhatsApp number, your social media, whatever it may be, and keep that conversation going between you two. But one thing which it sounds like you're already starting to do, but I think might be helpful to continue doing is ask your clients and your market specific questions. If they say they like it, but then why are they not buying it? So you ask like a question such as, agree or disagree. The price of the product is too high, just right, too low, whatever it may be to get more of those specific answers from your clients. Another thing can be researching and analyzing the other type of baskets that your competitors are currently making and sort of seeing how those compare to yours in terms of quality, in terms of design, and then sort of put that thinking cap on and seeing what you can do to differentiate yourself, how you stand out in terms of that price. And just continue to do that research and write it all down and have those conversations with your team, because the answer is out there. It's just trying to find it and ask those detailed, necessary questions.
We got another question from Morgan. I find it so hard to incorporate my overheads into my product pricing structure. Any tips? And so while you were going through your presentation, Hannah, I wrote down a couple things. It's really important to understand your overheads, and going through all the different costs that could be incorporated. And then once you have that, looking into the monthly costs for all of those items. And then also after that, it's important to determine your production capacity so then you can compare um, what you can do in a month and then what your costs are in that same month, um, to help you work out those costs.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Claire.
Yeah. Um, Shuku said, do you mean each product covers a percentage of all costs? Is there a formula? I think this was from earlier on in the finance section. And Ludovica responded actually and said, yes, there are different pricing templates, but the percentages depend on the specifics of your business.
Yeah,
So thank you,
very
Ludovica.
correct.
Njabu asked, can you sell the same product at different prices based on the different retail agreements?
Um, It's not 100% recommended as your products could be competing against them, competing against each other. I believe that some people do. But again, if somebody finds your product on one website that is at a higher cost and then again finds it at another website at a lower cost, they're going to go for the lower cost products probably, if they are price sensitive. So this can also, maybe even diminish the quality or not the quality, the sort of story of your product and your business, and also potentially cut you out of a little bit of money. So I would suggest to, do your best to keep it sort of level. But again, if you're selling through a wholesaler versus directly, sometimes there is some wiggle room in there depending on the costing structures, that you have in place. It just, depends on where in the market that you're selling and who it is that you're selling to.
Isabel asked, what's the typical markup percentage for B2B? And Ludovica actually answered again. Thank you so much. She said market average is around 2.5 between cost and wholesale and between cost wholesale and retail.
Thank you.
Um, Sakina just mentioned besides quality control, pricing affects also the sales. Um, and Mariana asked, I'd love to hear about other brands' experience with online marketing, Google Ads, Instagram, Pinterest ads. What is working best for small brands with lean budgets? So if anyone has anything to add there, that would be a great place to respond. Um, and then just some other great conversations in the chat.
Amazing. We love this element of networking, an element of community you guys are all starting to build. This is so great to hear. I wish I could see it. I'm excited to look back at all of it, once we're all set. All right, good to move forward, Claire?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to dive into sales and marketing. So this starting phase in sales and marketing, at the end, you have ideas about where you will sell and to who. So the milestones are you've researched that target market. Again, the word research just keeps on coming up. It's not going to stop coming up. And you've identified that ideal customer. So the action step is what is my competitive advantage in my target market? So you want to create that ideal customer profile by thinking about who they are, what's their income, what do they look like? Are they big on family? Are they single? Literally draw up what this person is going to look like. And this can help sort of reel it all in again, into truly identifying who your customer should be. And this can also help you with your communications, whether it's on social media or email. You move on next to the growing phase, where you've identified your first target market and really started selling. So you've identified your first target market, started selling your products. And so where do you find your customers? Again, this is through research, through trial and error, seeing where it is that you want to invest your money. You have that client profile, but where are they buying? You have your branding. Are they connecting with it? So there's some places where you can start selling. It's local fairs, retail stores, wholesale. export. You want to understand what tier of the market you are targeting and who that ideal customer is and where they shop. Do they shop in luxury? Do they shop in mass market? Are they only online? Whatever it may be. Once you've analyzed all of these elements, you'll go into expanding, where at the end you have added a sales channel and regularly communicate with these customers. So you've identified the sales strategies and you have your short, midterm, and long-term plans. So here, an action step is to prepare your short, mid, and long-term plans for your business using a sales strategy template. So you're thinking about the strategy and you've really identified it, and you want to plan for who you're selling to. What region, what product categories do you want to be working in? And you've understood that. You think about the short, the medium, and long-term goals to create the plan to move forward for the next couple of years. You make sure you're sustainable and not taking on too much. You're not selling in 17 different places and you're a team of two, or if you're a powerful team of two, maybe the 17 places works out. You have to think about your own capacity, your own financial goals, and your own financial needs. And all of these things being planned out will help you strategize better when and what to expect as the years go on and looking forward to the future. And finally, the thriving phase of sales and marketing. You've maximized your current sales channels and marketing strategies, and you've established a consistent presence in your target market. The milestones here are you've maximized the sales in your existing sales channels, implemented your long-term sales channel goals, identified the best marketing channels, you have consistent presence in your target markets, and you annually reevaluate your marketing and sales. So an action step here is just reevaluating your target market. Is it working? Is it not? And you start implementing this on a regular basis. So the best way to make more money is finding a way to maximize the sales to your existing customers and really building up those relationships and sales with them. You want people to keep coming back. It's a lot easier to have people you already know continue to come back to you than it is trying to always pull in new people. You want a consistent presence so buyers know where they can find you. You found that trade show that really works well for you. You found that online platform that really works well for you. And you want to make sure you're consistently appearing. So you take the metrics from these financial planning elements that you already did and you evaluate your sales and marketing. You want to make sure you're splitting up your marketing efforts throughout the year to ensure your sales and strategies are spread evenly. You don't want to do everything all at once, all at the same time, because then you might have dry spells throughout the year. Or if that's how you prefer to work, what metrics do you have in place to keep you going during those dry spells? So really planning ahead and getting that strategy together. Before we go on to management, let's see if we have any quick questions here on sales and marketing.
I don't think so, Hannah. Just a lot of connecting going on in the chat. So that's really exciting to see.
Yes, we love good connections. Keep on sharing your social medias with each other. Keep on talking, guys, and keep learning and growing together. This is great. Now we're going to hit our last sort of piece is this management piece. And after this, we've gone through all of the what you can do. And then I'm extremely excited to share the how you can do it. So, stage one, starting in management. At the end here, you work alone or in a team, you've established this, and are starting to really just organize everything. So some milestones here are you've registered your business or your organization, you've determined your organizational structure, you've identified who will make your products. And an action step is to identify the people and structure that will help bring your products to the market efficiently. So here again, doing research is really a great way to help achieve these goals. Better understand, what the needs are that you have. The registration process of your business, there are so many different ways to register and organize your business. And also a lot of times these registrations differ per country. So, this is some research you have to do, look into your local governments, your national, regional governments, and see what it is that the steps are that you need to take, as well as organizing your business. This is research again on understanding your needs and how you best work. You want to identify who will make your products. Is it you? Are you going to hire artisans? Are you going to partner with other organizations? You want to think about what skills are available and who is available. You can identify what materials and products you can make. And so through this, kind of ties all the way back to that product development phase. All of this research, you're researching what materials are available and what the skill set is that will also sort of decipher what products you're able to make. So it all sort of connects throughout these phases, all of these little elements. Once you've found all of these management tools in the starting phase, you will go on to growing, where in the end, you and or your team have set up systems for managing. So you have a team making your products and you've created quality control systems, something that is extremely important. And an action step here is to develop a product specification sheet. So first, really quickly, what is quality control? When you make handmade products, a lot of times, you have different variations, customers that want to make sure that they receive products that are the same consistent quality and size. If you have different artisans making the same products, there's always a potential that, some stitches might be looking a little different than others or be placed a little bit differently. And that's when these product specification sheets come in so that every artisan or anyone who's making the products has the guidelines that they need to follow to be able to develop these consistent products. Your customers now have a true expectation about the quality and the design of the products that they should be receiving. So you want to make sure you're adhering to that. And there are systems that you can use to really ensure that they are consistent, like these product specification sheets. Once this is in place, you will grow on to expanding, where in the end, you can usually manage production and ordering, quality control, communicating with your team well, and have clear roles and responsibilities for all of your staff. So you've planned your production space for efficiency, you've set up production tracking tools, you have quality control processes written down. So basically everything is documented and everyone is on the same team and on the same boat. So an action step here is develop those quality control checklists and a contingency plan. So let's say, something doesn't fully go right as per your control checklist or per your, product specification sheet. What is it that you can do if that does happen to ensure that production continues and that orders still get sent out right and that the incorrect things get corrected? So a lot of these things tie into efficiency. It's time to really think about the efficiency, and how your business is going to be able to ensure it's not wasting time, which then in turn wastes money. How are you working? Is your space set up in an organized way? Are you working out of homes, out of a central location? Are they set up in an organized and streamlined way? Are your raw materials stored? Are they labeled? Is it easy to find your product samples? All of these are questions to ask yourselves. In terms of production tracking tools, you want to understand the orders coming in. You want to plan for production capacity so you don't take on too much and you space out orders to give clients realistic timelines. You have tools in place to track who you've given work orders to, who's making what and doing what. This can really help you communicate better, both with buyers and be organized, but also with your team and eliminate the element of confusion. And in terms of quality control, it's always good to have everything written down. You have a checklist. You understand where in the process things might be going wrong and are being adjusted as you continue to go on. You make sure that there's a person in charge of this process to really keep the business delivering consistently and keeping that quality up and consistent. So with all this being said, you finally get to the thriving in management, where in the end you have a strong systems for managing production, staff, you annually analyze your finances, marketing, products, and can effectively manage challenges. So the milestones here, you have systems in place for managing production efficiency, and you've set up systems for that annual financial, marketing, and product analysis. So an action step is to conduct your market source, product, and client analysis. This can all be done through templates, through Excel sheets, through different resources. And again, this is great to do together with your team and really break down the sales for the year, the products that sold really well for the years, the ones that didn't. And again, do this together with everyone as it can inform your product development process for the year to come and how it is that you can make your future years more efficient within your business. So that was so much information that was just thrown at you. Before we sort of come to the exciting element of our presentation and start winding down a little bit, I want to see if there's any more questions in the chat about sort of the meat of this presentation today so far.
Not at the moment, I think, Hannah. Mariana asked, are there any resources you can share to search for interns or volunteers that can help with social media and marketing strategies? And I recommended, depending on where she is, Idealist is a great place, but also reaching out to colleges and universities near you to either post on their job boards or attend a career fair can also be a great place to find people.
Yes, 100% agreed. And then also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also a really good place where if you have, you could set up a business account, which I believe is free, and you could post sort of an opportunity under jobs in LinkedIn as well. Okay, anything else, Claire?
I think that's all we have for now. Just, yeah, again, a lot of people sending their contacts. So I hope that some relationships can come out of this. It's really
Yeah,
great to see.
amazing. So, now we really went through, everything from starting all the way through to thriving. And we actually already have, as we see in the chat today, a good community that's already coming together. And so I guess there's sort of two questions that right now remain. You have the what you can do to bring yourself from starting all the way to thriving, but how do you truly reach these milestones? What resources are available? And how do we also continue this element of community that we've already all started right here? The way to do this is actually through our Handmade to Market membership. So in this membership, you get beyond the what, you get beyond the just small communication that we're doing right now. You get a full community. You get answers to the how to do all of these things and how to reach this thriving level. Within this membership, we actually did our own market research to develop it, to understand the needs of our clients. And this made us really realize that we want to make sure we've created something that is exactly what our community needs and exactly responding to the questions that our community has. So we've put all of these things into one place. So back in 2024, we started off with founding members, a group of people who sort of helped us answer these questions and helped us develop this membership opportunity. And today actually is very close to our 1 year anniversary of having this membership live, up, and running. And it's such an exciting opportunity. So the membership is the only one of its kind that connects you to other entrepreneurs like you around the globe. This is only a small piece right now what you're receiving. Workshops like these to the public, we only give 4 times a year. You join the membership, you're able to communicate with people year round. You're able to join these types of workshops every month. It's such a great way to come together, no matter where you are in the world. We saw in the chat today, we have people from everywhere, from Jamaica, from Senegal, from different places in Europe, from the US, wherever it may be. The membership offers a unique education by experts in the handmade market, and it gives you the clear path to a thriving handmade business. So this path actually that we walk through today, in our membership, we have courses and resources that cover each element of this success path that shows you the how to do it, not just the what. Ooh. So what exactly will you get? You will get a powerful education with a clear learning path and practical tools you can use immediately. So we do this through our Artisan Business Essentials course, which is your step-by-step foundation. This is a self-paced course developed by our former training director, Lauren Barcume, and really walks you through these essential elements. We're implementing new in-depth courses on product, branding, pricing, sales and marketing, and management. And these will be released throughout the year in a cyclical format. So the first full course that went up today actually is our product development course. So this goes even more in depth into product development as a whole and some steps you can take to be successful. We have on-demand self-paced trainings and resources. So these are shorter workshops that are left now as replays, like the ones today covering the whole range of topics that you can go through to get your questions answered. And actually, a lot of the questions that were answered today by Claire, she has used our chatbot, which is available in our membership, to pull some details and information from the courses we have readily available on our platform to provide you guys with answers today. So a lot of our responses and answers are from the expertise that we ourselves have, as well as the experts that we have on staff, or sorry, the experts that we have as consultants within our community, who have helped develop all of these amazing training resources. And that's exactly it. The chatbot, I jumped ahead of myself there, is also available within the platform itself. You'll also get a global community where you can grow alongside one another. And, these are all people who truly understand your journeys, as we see today in today's group chat. We have a members only WhatsApp group, peer discussion forum, monthly workshops paired with networking opportunities, accountability partners. So this is when, if you want, you can pair up with somebody else in the community, share your goals with them, set milestones for yourself and dates for yourself. And this person is somebody who can help keep you on track, who can help you, find answers to questions you may have, and really help to ensure you are reaching the goals that you have set for yourself. We have a member directory for collaboration where you can look up people from different countries. You can look them up by different products and start to connect with other people who are also a part of our membership. You get exposure to the Global Handmade Business Network. On our website, we have profiles of our members. We put you guys into our newsletters and everything as well, so you are visible to the public. And we also have new roundtable discussions where you can work together with your peers in live format. And finally, we have expert insights where you learn directly from handmade industry professionals with members only monthly workshops, access to experienced consultants and industry leaders, some of whom are in our membership, and real world insights tailored specifically for handmade entrepreneurs. We have a few exciting upcoming workshops. We have a networking opportunity where you review your year, a dive into product development. We're welcoming Helen Jaffe of New York Now. We are doing a presentation on new market opportunities, business compliance with Nest. So a lot of exciting things coming up. And somebody like Hildegard here is one of our current members, and she answered a few questions for us. What were your goals before joining the membership? She said to increase export market reach, to learn how to approach export market clients and improve the quality of our work. So we followed up by asking her, have you accomplished any of your goals since joining the membership? She said yes. The market training helped me understand how to approach different markets and match the right products to each one. So seeing the quality of other members also really challenged her to produce better quality products. So working together almost as a team and sort of bouncing off of each other. And what valuable skills or insights have you gained from the membership? Through the networking with other members, it has helped me realize it wasn't about where you come from, but the quality of your products and how to pitch. So all of these things are available to you within our membership, and it's perfect for you if you're established but don't want to grow alone. You're stuck or at a plateau. You're just getting started and want to build it right. And you have a valuable connection, collaboration, and accountability. This is something that you truly want. You value it. And so you get all of these things, the essentials course, self-paced, the full self-paced courses, the chatbot, the on-demand library, monthly workshops, roundtable discussions, and of course, one of the most important parts, the community, all for a great value of $9.99 a month or an annual membership of $99, which gives you then 2 months free. So if all of this sounds good to you, if this is something that you really want to be a part of, now is the time to join. We're accepting new members between now and January 27th at 11:59 p.m. Claire's going to throw the registration link into the chat, or you can scan this QR code and join our membership today and really start working towards that thriving level with the resources and the community that you may be really looking for. Um, so I know I sped it up a little bit there at the end, and I apologize that we're slightly over time. We just had such great we had such great conversation and communication, so I didn't want to end that short or end that quick. But I want to ask Claire first if there are any further questions in the chat. And I also want to, make sure you guys get the link and have a look at this link. And I also want to end after we look at questions with a very quick poll to sort of close it all out before we turn off and continue on with our day today.
Um, Sakina had a question. She said, like Etsy, eBay, and Amazon, what marketplaces do you suggest the global artisans like us sell our handmade products? I recommended Fair, and also joining Good Market Global. But I think it was Maria said she's also been recommended Fair, but it's not available to her in Peru. So I don't know if you had any other recommendations, Hannah.
Yeah, I mean, those are all good recommendations. Another thing too, honestly, is just to do the research, try to understand where your clients are shopping, which can then guide you in the right direction of which sort of outlets to use.
Just gonna respond to Morgan. She asked, what is the time commitment like for the membership? I was gonna say, it all depends on your schedule. You can be as involved or not as you'd like. A lot of the content is to do on your own. So if certain days work better for you, you can go on, look at some workshops, ask questions, interact with people in the WhatsApp. But our membership comes from all around the world, so people are active at different times. And if you can't make the live workshops, there are always recordings. So it really just depends on what's going to work best for you.
Yep, exactly. It's all self-paced. The only things that are sort of on a time schedule are our workshops. But again, of course, we would love all our members to come and join them, but sometimes it's not feasible. And those replays are always made available. So it's however much time you want to commit to it.
I think last questions. Mari had just a few. She said, thanks for sharing. At what stage are the majority of the businesses in the membership? How many folks are in the member-only WhatsApp group? And is access to mentorship pairing included?
Amazing questions. So our membership has the full range, actually, from starting to thriving. Majority are in that expanding and growing level. And we have the least amount, I believe, in that thriving, but we have people from all the way across the board. We currently have upwards of 60 members. Claire, you can correct me,
Yep.
in our membership. About as of right now in our WhatsApp group, I believe it's about half of that have currently subscribed to the WhatsApp group, but everybody has access to it. And if they're not in the WhatsApp group, they're also a part of the monthly workshops and the discussion forum. So everything is sort of, up to you of which element you want to join into. Um, the WhatsApp group, and what was the last part of the question?
Just a couple questions. Is access to mentorship pairing included?
Great question. As of right now, access to mentorship pairing, like our one-on-one coaching, is currently not included. We're working on strategies to build this into potentially another tier, or potentially be something that is offered. However, at this time, we do not have that as an opportunity currently. However, though, usually when we have people come in to do our workshops, a lot of times our consultants are willing to reach out to you and discuss things with you beyond our memberships, or some of them are even members within our community, so that offers opportunity for discussion and further sort of progression in learning and one-on-one opportunities from there.
Thanks, Hannah. I
Yeah.
think that is all of the questions that we've gotten.
All right. Thank you guys all so much. I want Claire really quickly to launch our final poll just to get some feedback on today. But the big important thing is while you guys are taking this really quick poll, I would just want to say that we are all here together as a community, and I think today's workshop really showed that, how much we spoke together, how much you guys interacted in the chat. So we really hope that you guys bring this in to the membership and come in and join us in the membership if you have not done so already. So thank you guys again so much for being so active. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, to reach out, connect with each other. And we hope to see you guys in our membership and, continue to see all of you succeed in the upcoming years. So thank you guys so much. We hope you have a great evening, rest of your day. For me, it's still morning. And yeah, please stay in touch and keep up all of the amazing work, guys. Hopefully see you in our community. Bye.